Oh, that was lovely.
Good news travels fast, as it did again this year, when Waterbury Hospital, together with our dedicated community of volunteers, friends, and families, announced the recipient of the 2008 Humanitarian of the Year Award.
Viki is an icon to Waterbury Hospital. It is a joy to walk down the halls with her.
As those of us who know Viki well know that she's a very unassuming, humble person, but she's also very clear about what she wants to get done. She's a very, what we would call a together person, very organized, and of course very committed and very passionate about what she does.
One word to describe Viki for me is that she's just a very classy person. Viki always just carries herself with such grace and such charm.
If I had one word that I could say that would describe Viki, I would say outstanding.
The oldest of 6 children, Viki Luddy, born Victoria Gagliardi, grew up on her family's farm in Waterbury. She learned the value of volunteer work early on, putting her all into any job that would help the family and farm run smoothly.
Well, I was brought up on a farm. We used to do a lot of farm work, and always said that we were just so helpful that we would always help people when they were in need. And my parents always instilled that, you know, you're going to be old someday too, so you never neglect an older person if they need help. And that was one of the main things that were instilled in us, that we were always to help elderly people, help them out, help people. That was the big thing.
In the early 1960s, Viki married Christopher Luddy, a Waterbury police officer. Viki continued working for a local bank, rising to the position of assistant treasurer. They enjoyed life together for 16 years until Christopher was diagnosed with terminal cancer. The compassionate care her husband received while at Waterbury Hospital left a lasting impression with Viki. Then, again, after Viki's elderly father Rocco slipped, fell, and broke his hip, she was impressed with the level of care her father received from the hospital staff before, during, and after his hip surgery. And she did just that. In 1986, she retired from the bank and began a routine that would be part of her life for more than 2 decades. Walking to and from the hospital every day, working 8 or more hours a day, contributing and touching the lives of thousands of patients and hospital staff. Viki started her volunteer career as a dietary aid to patients.
One of my fondest memories of Viki was the first time that I met her, and she had come to the diet office to pick up menus from patients. And Viki, from the start, knew how important it was that every patient received individual attention and was assisted with their menus so that, you know, they could get the food that they liked. And Viki knew that immediately. She was very patient-focused.
Viki was very active in various fundraising efforts, including organizing a successful fashion show one hospital staffer remembers well.
She had the idea to have a fashion show to create funding for the hospital. And she came up to me on the floor. I knew her having been a nurse for many years, but also she would come up, she would distribute menus, she would be up on the unit, she'd be seeing patients. And she asked me to be in a fashion show. It was something I was mortified because I thought I would never be able to do it, but she was just wonderful. And you would do anything for Viki.
From 1991 to 1994, Viki was president of the Hospital Auxiliary, and it was during this time that she launched a very special program for young patients.
It can be very unsettling for children to come to CT. It's a device they've never seen before. They're in a foreign environment. They're uncomfortable. Their parents aren't always with them. They can be frightened, certainly. And Viki, in her infinitely creative way, came up with the idea of using teddy bears, like this fella, as a method to assuage their fears. More than 10 years ago, Viki started, with the help of the auxiliary, funding a program where we can give bears to small children, emergency room patients, outpatients, give them some comfort while they're having their study. And it has worked remarkably well. I thought that Viki had gone above and beyond coming up with this concept. She saw the need herself. We didn't come to her. She figured this out all on her own. It worked remarkably well. It's such a simple thing, but it addresses the needs of children. Been a great asset to our being successful in obtaining diagnostic studies on kids who would often be too frightened to cooperate.
Having a volunteer like Viki definitely makes my job as manager easier, because I know no matter what I ask her to do, she's willing to do it. And if she doesn't know something, she's willing to learn. And she's also a great teacher. She's willing to help people learn new things. In the gift shop, she'll help individuals learn the cash register. She will assist customers out on the floor. She's the type of person that will never leave any I not dotted or T not crossed. She double checks everything, and I've definitely learned from her the importance of being extremely fastidious and detail oriented.
In 1994, Viki was instrumental in obtaining a fetal heart monitor for the hospital, a very important piece of equipment used to take care of the hospital's smallest, most fragile patients.
She's a presence at every hospital event of every type, and she's always been one to roll up her sleeves, get in and just do it and get it done. And that to me is what leading is all about, and that's what Viki Luddy is all about for Waterbury Hospital.
It is my pleasure, Viki, on behalf of the Auxiliary Board, to congratulate you on receiving the Waterbury Hospital Humanitarian of the Year Award for 2008. I want you to have these lovely flowers. You wore the right flower.
Volunteering her time and desire to help others 8 hours a day, once or twice a week. And she intends to keep it that way. For her 22 years of service, in recognition of the more than 13,500 hours she has contributed as a dedicated volunteer, Waterbury Hospital and all of the friends and families touched by her generosity proudly present the 2008 Humanitarian of the Year Award to Viki Luddy.